All right, so this one inspires some questions. And the question is, can I get a 6x6 out of it, full length? So, I'm literally down to my last two of the big cedar logs that I brought home from the clearing job. And I had a client ask me for a, I would say, relatively small order. She wanted 4 8-foot 6x6s and 2 12-footers for decorative beams in her house. And this is the last one I got left that I'm trying to get a 12-footer out of. Normally, I would cut this in half at the sharpest angle of the bow and make shorter logs out of it, but I need to try, and she has some tolerance for weighing on the log, so I think I can get it. So I'll show you what I've done first, or explain what I've done first. Was I've gone ahead and I laid the log on the deck where the crook was horizontal. So I mean, you guys can see that from the arch now. So the log was laying on there. You can kind of see the curvature of my hand. It was laid on there like that. To where the worst of the arch was sideways and the flatter of the log was up and down. I cut this side off first, just enough to get 2 flat reference faces. Then I rolled it 180 and I cut this side off. Now I left room, obviously, because I've still got to take more off of this side. But I cut this side off to where hopefully I've got, 6-inch wide square face all the way down. I don't have a long level out here, but basically I wish I had a laser line on the mill to where I could sight down where the blade's gonna go. But since I don't have the laser line, it's kind of the point of this video. Since I don't have the line, what I'm looking for is how to reference or how to best measure to figure out if this is gonna work or not. So now that I've got it stood up, what I'm trying to do is figure from basically from this corner to this corner, so that I take off as little as possible. And you can see I've got it blocked up. I've got 5 inches, 4.5, whatever, almost 5 inches worth of shim under it, because if I set it flat on the deck, then this end hangs down way below the deck. So this is part of, I think if you go look at my video about when I was squaring up a cypress log, I mentioned in there about having to block up one end or the other because if the log has a bunch of taper. This log doesn't actually have too much taper. Cedar usually does, especially smaller cedar has a significant taper. This one doesn't have that much taper really, it's just because of the curvature. But basically what I've got to do is flatten off from, again, this corner to that top corner down there, then roll it 180 and hopefully still have 6 inches from where this line goes level across here. It's going to come right through here somewhere. Hopefully still have 6 inches down to there. It's going to be very, very close. If this doesn't work, then I haven't really scrapped the log, but I could have got some better stuff out. I mean, I can still, if it doesn't work, I can still knock it in half and, make short boards. So it's not wasted other than wasted effort. Anyway, so to reference this, because, I can roll my blade up to the end of the log and then I can go stand behind the mill, squat down and try to sight down the blade. That's what I normally do. But, the calibration on my eyeball is, I would say, inaccurate at best. So when you look down the blade like this, that seems like a great idea, but what if I'm a little high or a little low? It changes everything, right? This looks like I'm not gonna cut anything off at all, but that's because I'm low. You come up, hey, it looks all right, huh? So it's hard for me to tell if I'm ever dead level on the blade when I'm sighting. I guess I need to somehow mount like a rear mount sight, like a gun, but anyway, or I could just go get a little tack on battery powered laser. I could just do that. I'm sure they're probably like $5. I've just never done it. So what I'm doing instead to check level, What I do instead to check level is, well, let me bring this back up and I'll show you. I'm using the measure on my scale here. I pretty much never use the actual measuring tape on my scale because I'm normally cutting everything, you know, to some dimension, some standard board dimension. So I barely ever actually use this, but in this case I am. So it's referenced off the blade. And because she told me that she can tolerate some wane, I'm gonna come up to about there, to where you can still see that corner, but I've still got about 6 inches of width on the board because I can still come down a little bit more if I have to, okay? The scale says that I'm at 14.5, give or take, just below 14.5, and it reads a little high. So if I want to be like 5.5 inches, for example, I set that scale at like 5 5/8, which I just need to adjust it. Now I come down to this end, we're at 14.5. Again, I can't look at the very end of the log because it actually is hanging down below the deck a little bit. So I've got to measure from right here where it's sitting on the cross brace. 14.5. So it should be, assuming my deck is flat and assuming my scale is pretty close, it should be flat. So let's go ahead and take this top cap off and I guess just see what happens. Five and a half. 5 3/4 if I wanted to be generous. Now, if I take a little more off this face here, that makes it that much wider. What I've got to do first is flip it. Well, let me show you. So, I'm happy. I say I'm happy. I think I'm happy. I'm happy enough with this. If I go, I'm actually cutting them 5 3/4, not 5 1/2. So that's basically right there. That one's fine. I have that little bit of wane on that corner, but that's fine. And mind you, this is also cut long, okay? It's supposed to be 12 foot. I have cut it at 12'3". So basically, if you look at where I'm gonna knock it off, right at 12 feet, you know, that's pretty much there. And I don't know, she might be cutting even closer. She just asked 12 footers. So, I think now, stupid tape, God darn it, got one hand. I want to take more off of this side. I need to, obviously. But I don't want to take the full width just yet. So I want to take some off of this side. Let's see, the cant is how wide? I I wouldn't know because I can't get my tape measure to suck in. 9 1/4 wide. So I can take a couple inches off of this side. Not take it quite all the way down. I'm gonna take this side down to something like 6 1/2 or 7, basically. Leave me some room to take a little bit off that opposite side, just to shave it down and get her a little bit more good exposure. But I guess first I'll roll at 180. Roll at 180 and take it down to finish width, because it's not going to get any thicker. So there's nothing I can do about that. That's actually, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to roll at 180 and go ahead and take it down to the 5 1/2 or 5 3/4 dimension. And then that will show me which side, on the other two sides, which side I need to take some off of. So let's get it rolled over here. I mentioned I'm cutting at 5 3/4. That is because on this log scale that I'm using, this is my custom log scale I had made. I've got 3/8, half, 5/8, and 7/8 on it. I call it my half scale just because it has the half on. I guess I could call it the 7/8 scale, but that's just a mouthful. Half scale's got a nice ring to it. So on my half scale, and actually this is when I was cutting Carl's order with his 1/2-inch living room siding. On my half scale, there is a block that is at about 5 3/4. That's the top of one of the 1/2-inch blocks. And so that has become my reference. That's basically, that's how we got to this 5 3/4 idea, was just because that's my reference point. And it saves me from having to switch around. Holy moly. That thing does not look square. That can't look super cockeyed. No, you filthy, rotten. Huh. It's like 5 degrees out on this end. Well, that sucks. So now I've got a different problem. My cant isn't square like I thought it was. I checked it before I cut it. It must have shifted or something as I clamped it down and I just didn't notice. Now we got to do another cut. A reference. Put a shim there. That's pretty. We will balance that shim just to be safe on this end. So now I'm not going to cut my 5 3/4. Now I'm going to have to cut a little above it. Now I'm going to have to cut a little above the 5 3/4 and then flip the log again and shave the other side. skirting it. This one really needs to go straight on the scrap pile, but I'm putting all these big pieces of scrap on different piles right now, just because. As I was trying to get organized. Oh yeah. I think we're gonna make it. Pray she's gonna love it. So now we're gonna flip it back down again. Another 180. And we're gonna skim this side to the final 5 3/4. That'll square those two faces back up like they're supposed to be. Yeah, I should have gone up. Should have gone up on my half scale. I don't know if y'all can see this or not, but it's about a little less than 3/16 of an inch there, and it's almost maybe a little over half an inch on that side. What, Mackenzie? I'm almost finished. Yes, dear. Gotta finish this log, yes. Oh, baby, it's taking me forever? What?
I just finished one good mud castle.
You finished one good mud castle?
Yeah. I was also saying that you should try out the canoes first to make sure they work.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna work.
Yeah.
Do you have any reason to believe that they won't?
I'm just saying, like, just for safety.
Oh, you want me to try them out before you use them?
Yeah, just for
That way, if it sinks, I'm the one that goes down and not you.
kinda.
That sounds fair. That's awfully kind of you to offer that to me.
Well, because just to make sure that, but we're gonna have our life jackets on to make us float in the first place.
Yeah, but I don't have one. All right, I'm making a video. Okay, so this face is actually really good. My only wane is a little bit right in here, maybe 3/4 of an inch. This other face, it's still got raw bark on it. But I think I don't know, you know, without laying a level across it, I don't know how much I need to take down on this side, but I believe I've got way more than enough to get what I need to do. Let's take it down to 6.5 off of this side, then we'll roll it 180, and we'll take it to our finished cut, which should give me about a 3/4 board. Yes, dear? You really want to go swimming? Me too, baby. I'm hot. Woo, it's hot. That's what Bear would say. 6.5 plus. Okay. That is clean, clean, clean. My last cut for now, baby. Whew. So, I'm left with this little bit of wane here, which is extremely tolerable. And let's see what's on the other side. We got a little bit down here, which again, she may cut the log to length and take that off. Anyway, which I mean, you know, most people like a little bit of that sapwood contrast. Ooh. Got a little knot hole there. It's nothing structural, but it's actually got some little bit of bark inclusion here. That's kind of cool. So that's the other side of that wane.
Look how pink and red it is.
It's very pink and red, isn't it?
Pink and red. It's a color of walnut. It looks
The color of what?
It's a color of a type of tree and it looks pretty.
What kind of tree?
I don't know.
Eastern red cedar, you know that. A little bit of wane there. That's it. Holy crap. I'm not gonna lie, people. I'm proud of accomplishing that out of that wicked bow of a log. That's everything it could give me. Check our dimension real quick. Five and a hair under 3/4, which I think is normally like 5 5/8, but still. And 5 3/4. So we're not quite a perfect square, but if someone wanted to joint it and finish it down to be a nominal 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, they could. But again, these are for decorative beams. You know, they're going to be exposed beams. They're meant to look rough and real. So if it's a little bit out, that's the great thing. That's the great advantage or you know, assistance that we get cutting out rustic stuff like this is, you know, there should be some good tolerance for imperfections because it's not supposed to be perfect. No one wants something that's considered rustic to be perfect. It's I don't know if they're antonyms or not, but they're not the same. Yeah. Okay. Can I get a 6x6? I do believe I did. I'm calling it.